Hello, everybody. It's November 30th, 2024. I'm a few minutes late because I had a little bit of technical difficulties. So I'll wait until you receive the notifications, and let's see, I'll post some things in the chat here. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm a few minutes late because I was having some technical difficulties. It's Saturday night, November 30th, 2024. It's the last day of the month. I can't believe it's going to be December. Hello, 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 everybody. Let's see what we've got here. Hello, everybody. Hi there. How are you? I'm a few minutes late because I was having some technical difficulties. My laptop is like really slow, very, very slow. And actually, ChatGPT created a logo for alternative homesteading. It's just that I'm having a hard time downloading the image because it's in a format that's not really working. How's everybody doing? Let's see. Uncensored. What kinds of uncensored? Yeah. I mean, generally, when I had a decent Thanksgiving, I don't eat turkey. What did I eat actually for Thanksgiving? I didn't even open up a can of cranberry sauce. I don't remember. I don't even remember what I ate. But I was on the phone a lot. Two family members. So on the holidays, you just talk, 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 talk. And then I took care of the animals around here. Yes, it is kind of uncensored here. Yes, because the only thing is after the live is over, it's usually, longer than an hour, and then TheyTube, not YouTube, TheyTube usually checks to see that it's ad friendly, and then they'll decide whether or not it's going to be monetized or not. But at least you can write what you want here, and nobody's going to delete it. I mean, unless of course you're a perp, and then I'll just kick you out. Yeah, it's TheyTube. It's not about us anymore. It's about them. Like even TikTok is getting bad. TikTok has been deleting videos and closing channels ever since TikTok was in court. I guess it was they wanted to ban TikTok, and then they must have come to some kind of an agreement. And I believe that one of the intel agencies is helping monitor TikTok. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. It's happening all over the place. Now, please remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in. Yeah, I guess it was today, yesterday. People who have been commenting on the videos say that their comments are disappearing, and sometimes comments won't appear if you're posting a link to either another channel or an outside source. It'll be held for review by me, but I didn't even see anything held for review. So, like, some of the comments are just automatically disappearing, which really pisses me off. I don't think they tube. It's not even they tube. It's if you're targeted and I'm targeted, and they're in the comments. These criminals are in the comment section. They'll just delete stuff. Renata? Really? There isn't anything that she says on her channel that would remotely be taken down. That's really bizarre. I don't even understand what's been taken down. I mean, I know there was one video. A lot of times she'll talk about the current events and stuff, and she was talking about the diddler guy on one of her videos. I don't know if that was it, but everybody's talking about him. Her old videos, really? I've heard that too. Like David A said that he got a strike for a video 3 months ago, like 3 months old. But that's happened to me too. I had a video taken down about detoxing. Could you imagine? But meanwhile, there are hundreds of videos, hundreds of doctors and creators speaking about detoxing. But when a targeted person talks about it, it gets taken down. I had the same video taken down on TikTok and YouTube about detoxing. I mean, it's crazy. That's a I've never really searched. But it's interesting you say that because when I first came into this community in 2017, and I started going on to all those conference calls, and that Ella fraud person, she would post all of her videos online on YouTube. They're all gone. The entire website's gone. The domain name is gone. Hi, con artists. Good evening. Good evening. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. If you celebrate Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's what I call her, Ella Fraud. That's what she is. I just tell it like it is. It's Ella Fraud. But anyway, well, obviously she is a fraud because she took down all of her videos, all of the testimonies. Oh, well, see, yeah, they're so yeah, you said you have gaming videos taken down from a song about the 19. It's on YouTube. I know. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, I saw a video today. Evidently Bill from the Gates of Hell was, I think it was in the UK, and he's in his black car, whatever, and his car is totally mobbed. People are cursing at him, yelling at him, calling him a can I say the word? He's a murderer. um, just screaming at him, like hating on him. I mean, people like really can't stand that guy. He really should be in prison, but because he's got money, he's really a nobody with money. Well, yes, she was married. She was married to no, she wasn't married to one of the Eagles band members. I think it was a cousin. Hi, Ace of Cups, welcome. I think it was a cousin or a family member of one of the Eagles guys. But they're divorced. She got divorced a couple of years ago. I mean, I don't know why. Um, but yeah, she's just she's a liar. And she took down all of the interviews. Imagine having a channel. I mean, sort of like this one. I mean, if it comes down, if any of ours comes down, it's involuntary. But she literally started taking down all of those testimonies. And imagine for years you're interviewing people. Yeah, they are vile, Ace of Cups. And then the next day they stuck a turkey carcass on my property. Oh, just disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, yeah. I call him Bill from the Gates of Hell because that's what he is. He's a psychopath. Well, actually, he's not a psychopath. He actually has I think he's on the uh Asperger's level. I think he's even mentioned that he has Asperger's, Bill Gates. So he doesn't have any empathy. Ugh, well, I don't know any about I'm not even going to talk about it because, this early on in the chat, the whole chat could be taken down. So that's not something I'm going to discuss, but you can type it. I'm not going to read it out loud. Yeah, well, they have a lot of crude Thanksgiving jokes. That's beyond crude. It's actually mail tampering. Well, the histrionic personality disorder is usually attributed mostly to females because I call it the drama mama syndrome, the overly dramatic. Um, I don't know that Bill Gates is overly dramatic, although he exaggerates. He exaggerates on some things, but I don't see him as being histrionic. My neighbors are more histrionic. Exactly. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's like when you look at the billionaires, like you compare him to Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk has like two sides to him. And like I've watched a few videos this week about Elon Musk and him going undercover and pretending to be homeless, pretending to not have money, and he's helped so many people. But like he's done a lot of random acts of kindness. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be condescending or lack empathy about other targeted people's experiences because we're at different stages of our experiences too. Some are like the early stages, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years in. I'm already past my dozen years. So what's happening to me is not happening to somebody else. But to be paying too much attention about the colors of cars, it's real literally in the scheme of things. That is not important. It's not important, like, how many white cars, how many gray cars, who cares? I mean, yes, it has to do with a desensitization or of colors and stuff, but how is that really a form of harassment? It's more of a form of programming you to pay attention to that. And that's probably why I get something different than other people. I don't give a shit about the color of their cars. I don't care if they're pickup trucks. I don't care if they're hi Nicholas, welcome, welcome. It doesn't matter to me. Like people have pointed it out to me. Oh, look at that red car. It's like my father taught me when I was growing up that people who buy red cars have to pay more insurance. It's like, why do you want to buy a red car if you have to pay more insurance because it's red? Because insurance companies assume you're going to drive faster. So I don't have an interest. First of all, I think red cars are ugly. That's just me. It's just hi Cheryl, welcome, welcome. So yeah, so I don't get caught up on, oh, it's that color or what that color or whatever. But I do get caught up when there are dead animals dropped on my property or inside my mailbox, preventing my mail carrier from delivering my mail. And also the fact that the mail carrier the night before was a new guy and he finished up late. So he didn't put mail in my mailbox from the day before until 7 p.m. So when these morons put that dead animal in my mailbox, they got that blood all over my mail. So that's mail tampering. So mail tampering with mail that was already there and then preventing the mail carrier from actually delivering the mail. Oh, you're colorblind. Oh, how interesting. And that seems to be a male trait. Like I had like a really good guy friend, and he was colorblind, and yeah, they're really disgusting. But he had trouble seeing blues and greens. Like they all look the same to him. The color blues and greens, he couldn't really distinguish between the difference. Let's see. You've been having a young, old woman physically wanting to fight with me if I disagree. That's what they do. They try to pick fights. Like Scarlett down the block. She's on two occasions wanted me to duke it out with her on the county road. She's a moron. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Like, what is a 60, middle age, 60 uh, something year old woman want to do with that 40-year-old bitch down the block? And that's what she is. She's a bitch. I'm sorry. She just is. Oh, you can't see red or yellow or gray. Oh, that's so interesting. But can you see green and blue? Welcome, Sarah. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Yes, mail tampering is serious. It violates international laws protecting mail fraud. Actually, I found a video. On online, the Postal Service, about the mail tampering. And let me find it here. Here it is. It's U.S. Postal Inspection Service mailbox vandalism. PSA. I'll post it here if anybody wants to check it out. So that woman has Trump derangement syndrome towards me. Trump derangement syndrome. No, she had. I don't have any association with these people. See, this is how you know who your perps are. I moved to Kentucky, to this area, knowing nobody. I didn't know anybody. And I was so busy when I moved here, I didn't associate with anybody. So the fact that I could move here knowing no one and that the whole community could hate me, it just tells you that the slander campaign was afoot. Some the fusion center operative was already in here, already contacted the sheriff's department, already contacted the county lawyer, Ross Murray, who is a perp also. He's psychologically abusive, another psychopath. My screen just froze up. Let's see. You said we've got fake. Oh, in your mailbox. Oh, your uncle was a federal postal inspector. Interesting. Oh, good for you. You had a 2-hour walk. Two people appeared out of nowhere and smoked. Oh, how interesting. And just disappeared. Maybe those were the perps, Nicholas. Maybe they sent them out there to do that. I mean, where would people come out of the woods in the middle of nowhere when you're on a 2-hour walk, right? So please remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Hi, Steve. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. There's I was looking up harassment, and there's so many different kinds of harassment. I wanted to read some of this to you. What is harassment? We understand harassment to be aggressive, harmful, intimidating, or persecutory behavior towards other people. Harassing behavior can be of different types, both physical, verbal, through obscene comments or innuendo, or sexual, can occur in different situations such as school or the work environment. And if you hear me slurring or whatever, I'm not drunk. The criminals have been targeting the back of my throat and the left side of my tongue. And it's causing, I don't know if my tongue is swollen, but it's rubbing on my back teeth. And it's preventing me from accurately articulating some words. And hopefully it won't be lasting. So the bullying occurs repeatedly or is likely to happen again in the future. It manages to generate a situation of dominance and control of the harasser over the victim. Given that normally the aggressor and the victim behave in an environment that is, they are classmates, either at school or work, it produces a situation of helplessness in the harassed person without power or knowing on many situations how to deal with the situation of harassment. Now, obviously, what I'm reading to you is very simple, but I'm reading this because it goes on to talk about the different forms of harassment. It's important to highlight the imbalance of power that occurs between the harasser and the victim. The former believing himself to be much more superior or in a higher position. Like these criminals, these perpetrators, they believe, they're of the misguided belief, because they're being protected, that they're in a higher position. You know, they're the ones that are getting the fake badges. The fake badge, they're part of the fake badge distribution network. In the same way, we cannot forget that the two parties involved in the harassment, both the one who causes harm and the one who receives it, can present or develop serious and lasting problems. So, what forms of harassment are there? There are different types of harassment and can be classified in different ways, such as according to the scope, situation where it occurs, or according to the type of attack that is carried out. Below, we will present 7 well-known and common forms of harassment. Given the seriousness of the situation, we must remember that it is necessary to denounce it and that it becomes legally available. Number one, bullying. School bullying, also known as bullying, is one of the most common types of bullying. It is characterized by the performance of harmful behavior, whether physical, verbal, psychological, towards another individual in a school context. Normally, those involved are two students and the harasser and the harassed, although, given the difference and imbalance of power that bullying implies, the aggressor can also be a group of students or even a teacher who already has more authority. Now, I will say that once a teacher becomes involved, it is considered mobbing and not bullying anymore. The difference between bullying and mobbing is that bullying does not include someone who is in a position of authority to end it. When a teacher becomes involved in the bullying, and then it's considered mobbing because the teacher is in a position of authority to break it up and chooses to either be complicit or ignore it. So let me just check in the chat, see what you're talking about here. Your condo board snow clear today. Tried to open your door, and thankfully it was locked. They were contracted from your condo board. We're all gang stalkers. It seems like those condo boards and what are those homeowners associations? They're all involved in this stuff. Or you know what it is? They're easily coerced. They get off on policing other people because they want to feel like they're. Who's the perp in the chat? Because I was reading, so I must have missed something. Yeah, the HOAs. I would never, I would never live in an HOA, especially as a targeted person. But in general, I don't like them. I think that they should be abolished. They're too involved in the privacy rights of others. So Connors is saying, when I worked at my local hospital, I could see some of my gang stalkers' hearts were in it. Others were serious and loved stalking, especially the managers and doctors. Also, let's see. Yeah, I don't like those associations. I mean, I honestly, like years ago, before I moved to even New Jersey, when I was just married with my ex-husband, we were living in a co-op in Queens. And a co-op is you have shares in the apartment. And I was actually on the acceptance committee. So along with, I guess, there were two other people. So we actually interviewed people who were interested in purchasing the building. And it was basically to make sure that, like, I guess the right kinds of people were moving in and stuff. But I don't like the concept, actually. I think people should be able to, if they can afford to live somewhere, I don't think anybody has a right to interview them to ask to see whether or not they're suitable to live there, as long as they can afford to. I don't like those places. Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Let's see if under HOA. Body corporate. I'm not familiar with that. What is body corporate? Can dictate the rules, what goes and what doesn't. That's what you call them, condo boards. Oh, okay. Because you're in Canada. Yeah, I guess we all have the same things and we call them something different. But let me see. Let me go back to this article. Okay, so now there's workplace harassment is also known by the English term mobbing, refers to harmful and hostile behavior that occurs in the workplace. Threats, the propagation and dissemination of false rumors to provoke the rejection and isolation of the victim are typical. In the same way that we've also seen what happens with bullying, in this type of bullying, the aggressor and the victim are related. They're in the same place for much of the same time most days. The fact that makes the affection more intense and continuous is the harassment has difficulties to avoid or flee from the harassment situation. Harassing behavior can occur vertically, that is, between individuals with jobs in the different categories, between the boss and his subordinate, or horizontally, when those involved hold similar positions. We have already pointed out the aggressor may be one or a group of people. Workplace bullying produces serious consequences for both the company and the harassed worker, and can generate a high degree of stress in him, leading to a post traumatic stress disorder, and even on some occasions where there's no remedy put in place and the bullying behavior is not treated. It may cause suicide of the victim, and in this way it will be essential to prevent and not overlook any harassment behavior at work. Now, this is how I stumbled across this article. Real estate harassment. Real estate stalking, also called real estate mobbing or blockbusting, is the least known type of stalking. This consists of hostile behavior towards a person or family against the right to have adequate housing. So, what do you say? Another example of not owning your, if you have to jump through hoops for the HOA. Yeah. And the other thing about the HOAs, you usually have to pay fees, right? And those fees are not constant. They they increase, annually. So let's see. So condo boards are in Canada, HOAs the US, and body corporate is Australia and New Zealand. Okay. I see like there are multiple conversations here. So somebody's talking about the Shriners, the Moose Club, the Elk Club. All of those animal clubs belong to the Three Masons. You pay $400? You pay $400? Oh my goodness. Is that you pay $400 annually for your HOA? And what does that actually cover? Does that pay for repairs? You pay that monthly? You pay $400 monthly for an HOA? That's insane. That's really high. That's a lot of money. I know in New Jersey, one of my friends had to pay a pet fee, a monthly pet fee for her cat. I think she had to pay like $40 or $50 a month just to keep her cat in the apartment. It was ridiculous. I would never pay that. I'd have to go somewhere. I'd have to go somewhere else. But let me get back to this article here on the real estate harassment. This type of harassment is carried out by the owner. Now, this is mostly people who are living in apartments or condos or whatever. This type of harassment is carried out by the owner towards people who rent their home. Harassing behaviors can be diverse from turning off the water, the electricity, refusing to repair breakdowns or damage to the floor. The objective of the owner is that the tenants end up abandoning the house or canceling the rental contract. And that's what these criminals here are doing to me. They are such losers if they think that I'm going to abandon my property. Yeah, right. It is common for those affected by this type of harassment to be older people with difficulties in understanding their rights or without the support of others to help them. So let's see what you guys are saying. Your brother pays 200, 400 a month for a pool, small workout room, and a subdivision at his house. Well, at least, I mean, I don't know what these HOA fees cover, but at least if your brother is has a pool or a workout room, I mean that's something. Um, exactly. That's a good point, Cheryl. But get a country club membership for that. Why pay to an HOA? The HOAs have to fund their gang stalking programs. Somehow, apparently, Ace of Cups says yes. That's funny. Oh, it covers the lawn care, the snow removal. Okay. Well, then that makes sense. See, well, that makes sense because when you own a home and you pay property taxes, a part of your property taxes go to covering uh, those things, the lawn care, the street care, snow removal, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what they say it covers. But you never know because I'm sure those people take some kind of a salary. Yeah, that is an inordinate amount of lawn care to spend that much money a month. Because honestly, like in New Jersey, I was paying, I think I was paying $36 a week to cut my grass. And when you own a home, the grass is the grass lawn maintenance is yours, but the street maintenance is the town. That's a lot of money. Wow, that's amazing. A psychological harassment is also known by the name of moral harassment since it aims to damage the dignity and moral integrity of the victim, producing a psychological imbalance in her that will cause different alterations and affections in all areas of life. This type of harassment can be more difficult to detect since it does not leave any visible physical signs, and on many occasions, the victim is confused and is not able to detect that they're being harassed and thus be able to ask for help. Well, I think we're all pretty aware that we're being harassed. We can detect it pretty well. The behaviors that can be seen in psychological harassment are lies, defamation, or distortions of reality giving a version that is not real. These presented are in a repetitive and continuous way, end up producing in the harassed a feeling of uncertainty, helplessness, loss of control, and not knowing how to act or handle the situation. A state of insecurity and instability will appear in the victim, a loss of confidence in others that can be led to depressive or anxious symptoms and even suicidal attempts and behaviors. Then there's the actual physical harassment. Physical harassment or stalking consists of the conduct of chasing, stalking another person in order to establish or form a relationship against the will of the harassed person who does not want any type of contact with the harasser. This behavior can become obsessive and even generate aggressiveness and hostility, being able to attack the victim. The harasser can persecute, spy on, threaten the victim, or try to communicate to get in touch with her, even through calls or messages. This type of harassment can also be carried out in authoritarian governments to obtain information from the people who inhabit it and have them controlled. Then, of course, there's sexual harassment. The aggressor performs intimidating, threatening, or pressured behavior of the sexual nature. The behaviors carried out in this type of aggression can be both physical, such as behaviors of physical violence, touching, caressing, approaching without the consent of the other person, verbal, saying obscene comments, words, or references of a sexual nature, nonverbal, making gestures, movements, noises, whistles with the aim of intimidation. Then there's cyberbullying, cyber stalking, internet bullying, online bullying, or virtual bullying is one of the most recent types given the development that has occurred in the field of technology. In this type of harassment, the aggressor uses social networks or digital communication devices in order to spread false rumors or private information about the victim, as well as refer to them in a vulgar or with obscene words. This situation generates great discomfort in the harassed person and may lead to psychological, emotional, or social alterations. Given the continuous and high consumption of social networks and the internet by adolescents, as well as the innocence and lack of experience that some of them may present, they are usually the main targets and most affected by cyberbullying. Although there are a lot of adults that are harassed with cyberbullying. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Yes, thank you, Jerry. Welcome, welcome. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I started a little bit late. I was having some technical difficulties. I've got a really slow laptop here. Welcome, welcome. The monthly fee was $250 10 years ago. Everything has increased in price. Like rents are crazy. Oh, you do? I mean, most young people today cannot afford to buy a home. Like, I don't even know how they do it. I think that's why so many young people are still living with their parents. And the cost of just the cost of living. Like when I was, I don't know, a teenager in my 20s and even 30s, I mean, we didn't have all the expenses that we have now, like with an internet connection, with cell phones and stuff like that. We had a landline, we didn't have the kind of technology back then that cost so much money. Oh, that's a good question, Ace of Cups. I will attest to the fact that other targeted people who have property, land, have experienced a lot of the same property damage. But in each instance, when they attempted to sell their property, the vandalism increased like tenfold. And that's what happened to me in New Jersey. Like I completely renovated my house, like literally top to bottom. And that's when they went after the house and started vandalizing it. But it wasn't just the outside of the house, it was inside, it was the furniture. A total asset stripping. Yeah, a lot of asset stripping. And some of the things that they destroyed, we're not talking about like, okay, just replacing socks and shoes and stuff. I've collected antiques my whole life. My father was an antique dealer, like after he retired from IBM. So we had a lot of antiques and they're irreplaceable. So if you damage it, you totally depreciate the value of it. Things that I've been collecting all that time. Isn't that amazing? Oh, that's the government valuation. That it's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Well, in New Jersey, I mean, I've said it before, like they just my property damage in New Jersey was $300,000. $300,000 vandalism in New Jersey. And right now here, I'm gonna say it's probably close to $200,000 of vandalism so far here. That doesn't include everything that was stolen, and it doesn't definitely does not include what they did to my cats. Because a lot of people don't realize it's not just about replacing or a washer or dryer or whatever. Like you could like what they did to my washing machine and the heating unit. It's not just the replacement of the object. You then have to pay somebody to remove it and install it. So that, like me, it involved hiring a plumber. So it costs twice as much money to replace something that's only 5 years old. It's so much money. Exactly. It costs as much for the labor. That's exactly right. And it depends on where you live too. It's very hard to find people around here. You live in a semi-rural area, no employment. Oh, 120K is first of all, it's a lot of money anywhere. Yep. Yes, they especially like to go after your vehicle. Every time I drive into town, I return with more scratches on my car just for being parked in one place. Well, you're saying when bubbles pop, land will be cheap. Well, actually, what's happening is that the physical residence, many of them are totally overvalued. I mean, I saw what happened even to my house in New Jersey. I sold my house in the mid 50s, $500,000, 550. It's now going for quote close to $900,000 in just 5 years. I mean, that is a ridiculous price, just ridiculous. But land is increasing. See, not property, homes are overpriced now. Most homes are just totally overpriced. But the actual home prices are going to be decrease, but land prices are going to increase. Yeah, when you're blacklisted, exactly. Yep, yep. Are cars overpriced? Yeah, I think they are overpriced. Billy, what did you say? Board member lashed out at you and the police refused to press charges. If you had done what the board member did to you, she hit your hands, causing me to drop my cell phone, that you would have been arrested. Yeah. Yeah, that's horrible. What they do to me is they drain my car battery. Like I finally got it checked out. I went into when the last time I went into town, I went to the auto place to get my battery and the tires checked and all of that. They actually said that my battery was fine. Like, they were shocked because my battery's, like, 10 years old, and they were shocked that it was in such good condition. I said, "Well, my car battery keeps getting drained." They were like, they were looking at me like they didn't understand why. And, well, I know why, because these criminals are draining it the way they drain batteries inside my house. Like, I can install new batteries in a device and they're drained. And, like, right now, I have here, I mean, I'll probably do a video on it. I bought this a couple of years ago. It's this device to detect radiation. It's not expensive, but this is like the second one I've purchased, and it worked fine when I got it. And literally within like 48 hours, it just totally stops working. And like right now, I have two items here. Um, One that I purchased on Amazon. It's a like a little ozone air purifier. I charge it up, it doesn't work. Like, there's so many things that I buy that just suddenly stop working. Oh, did you hear that Canada, um, Trudeau Trudeau was meeting with, Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago over the tax embargo or something like that? Guess other countries are getting scared that, the Trumpster is coming in and gonna shake things up. But anybody that didn't hit the thumbs up, if you could hit the thumbs up, because it says that there are 25 people in the chat and 15 thumbs up. I don't blame you for tuning out of politics. Before all of this happened to me, before I realized that I was targeted, I never watched the news. I didn't like it. I would turn off the news, not watch it. I didn't vote. I didn't know anything about the ABC agencies. I had no interest in it. I listened to music, meditated, and, life was so different. Why would somebody want to turn you into having an interest in politics? It's just so he he's like, "It's not politics, it's reality." Well, that's true. It's true. I mean, I guess we can't turn it out because it does involve us. All politics involves us. He said, let's see. I learned not to attend staff meetings because all of my work challenges, being stalkers, had the opportunity to set me up at these meetings. That's horrible. That's so horrible. All of a sudden, when staff meetings come, I needed to go to the toilet. Oh my goodness. You do not open your door to strangers. When I was in New Jersey, um, what do you call them? The Jehovah's Witnesses, you would see them, like they would park their car, and then a group of them would get out and start walking down the block, go to door, trying to give you a little Watchtower magazine. I want to ask you guys, in your targeting, in your physical targeting, do you ever get like little bumps on your head from whatever it is that they're doing to you? I don't know if it's an implant. I don't know if it's that they're targeting from a distance. But over the last day or 2 days, I've got these 6 bumps on my head. They're, like, to the touch, they're a little painful. Yes, something like that. They're very like they're painful. It's not part of my skull. It just showed up. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses are weird. They're just weird. Yeah, I have no idea what my head would look like without all my hair because they've changed the shape of my skull. Like I know. I mean, I'm old enough to know what I'm supposed to look like. And when I run my fingers like I'm doing now through my head, it's all bumpy. And I it used to be perfectly oval. Yeah, exactly. It feels like a tiny zit. That exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah, they love to target the legs and the feet. They have totally distorted my toenails. Hi, Matson. Now the RF doesn't work at all. Electric meter is messed with also. Yeah, they love to target the legs. They're trying to disable us. That's what it is. They figure if they could disable us, then we can't go about our usual business and that they can further asset strip us. Yes. It's from the overheating. They're overheating and stimulating any kind of predisposition. I remember that when I first moved here, you're consuming as much vitamins, honey, and ginger as you can handle. I use honey. I eat honey every day. Like I really need to invest in honey. Like I buy jars of it at a time. I really love honey. I don't eat enough ginger, although I did buy raw ginger. I've got some crystallized ginger also. But I've found raw turmeric, which is really good too. The raw turmeric. I get so busy here with the animals and like creating videos and cleaning and doing laundry and dealing with my own targeting that I forget about taking the vitamins sometimes. Like I'll take a few, I'll take 3 or 4, and I literally my counter is covered in vitamins. And the problem is like I'll buy them and I just can't stand taking them. I just can't swallow like that many vitamins and the capsules especially. Yeah, the shungite is good. It's expensive. Are you talking about shungite meaning like the rock? The rock that absorbs radiation? There's something also, and I have it. It tastes disgusting. It's called shallite. It's like eating grease. That's the only way I could describe it. It's like this thick, black, greasy. It almost tastes like you're eating a purified tree or something. I think this is the way it's spelled. Let me see. I think it's something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct spelling. You get spots on your scalp, your face, your neck. Scratching brings up amount. Yes, yes. And you know what else I've noticed? I've noticed that my fingers, like the skin on my fingers and underneath my fingernails, I get these little black speckles. And normally, that's not normal. So it's coming from something in the environment. I think they're nanites. I think that's what it is. And unless I scrub it, like even if I'm in an Epsom salt bath for 20 minutes or a half an hour, unless I scrub it, they're not coming off. Like, I don't know if it's Morgellons or nanites or something. Well, they'll do the chipping. They'll knock you out and come in when you're asleep. Depending on where you live. I finally found out in New Jersey that they were coming in through my garage door during the day and then going into a back room and leaving a window unlocked, and they would come in at night through that unlocked window. Yes, the RF weapons cause fungus where they shoot the ground mushrooms grow. That's exactly what's happening on my property. I have mushrooms growing in places it's never been before. That's it. That's what it's called. That's the correct spelling. Shallite has sea moss, ashwagandha, and boron. Oh, that's a good one. That's really good. That's really good. I bought sea moss, but again, it's in a capsule, and I just hate taking these capsules. And I don't know if you guys are interested. I have a friend, and I'll just give you the website. It's called nutritionalroots.com. And you can let me just make sure it's here. One second. They have a lot of plant-based vitamins. It's called nutritionalroots.com. And if you use the code Danny20, you'll get 20% off of your first order. I have thought about doing a newsletter. I actually, years ago, I was asked to co-moderate the Chief Damon Jones podcast. It was on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. And then after that, I would put out a newsletter of all the topics that we discussed. I would do some research. I get your URLs, websites and stuff, and I would send it around to everybody. And I would categorize it by what topic it was under. And sometimes could be, 8 or 10 pages long. It was extremely time consuming. But I would like to do a newsletter, maybe a page just updating information, important information that TheYouTube has no access to. And I've noticed that other YouTube creators also have newsletters. Sometimes their newsletters, though, are under their website. So they have the option for a newsletter with their website. So it's all included. And many of the newsletters, like the formal newsletters, like a newsletter writing site, has a monthly fee attached to it. And I don't want to do that. But I certainly could create my own newsletter and obtain everybody's email addresses and work it that way. But also there's Substack. So I want to look into Substack, where you can write through Substack. And let's see, the news media doesn't even touch the issues you touch. Well, they're not going to, for the most part. But yeah, I would not mind doing a newsletter, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or whatever. I think it's a good way to stay in contact with people, off of YouTube. Oh, you didn't believe Nano would last. You thought it was another fad. It turns out you were wrong. Nano is huge. Oh, it's huge. Yeah, the newsletter could be such a benefit. Um, in New Jersey, I had a newsletter through constant contact for my cat rescue. And it was very beneficial because I stayed in contact with people who had donated, who wanted updates on how my cats were doing and stuff because people get busy, they forget. So, let's see, someone just poached a deer 10:25 p.m. in Louisiana. I'm just reading what you're saying here. Yeah. I mean, the newsletter is definitely something that I've thought of. It definitely be a benefit. It definitely would be a benefit in many ways because I would be able to communicate things that I can't on YouTube. We would be able to stay in contact. I haven't talked to anyone and kind of like catch 22 situation. Jerry, are you an INFJ personality type? It seems like a lot of targeted people are. Yeah, yeah, so am I. So are a lot of us, actually. I just sort of did a random poll a few months ago when I posted that about the personality types on the channel. And a lot of people responded as being INFJ or INFP, and then INTJ. It was very interesting. The only thing I would worry about with a newsletter is how your neighbors react to it. Well, the neighbors would. INFJ is a personality type. Here, let me go find it. Let me go find it on my channel. I'll put it in for you guys. I'll get you the links. One second. Well, see, if I had a newsletter, we're getting attacked right now because we're all buffering. So it's not just me. We're all buffering. You're buffering. Oh, thank you for that information, Billy. I actually just had air put in my tires, so all I had my everything checked. The only thing I have to do is get an oil change, and I have to schedule that. Yeah, so I had everything checked. Okay, I can see everybody now. I'm back also. Yeah, so they buffered all of us. All of us got buffered. Isn't that nice? Okay, so now I'm going to try to get you guys the link here. So this is personality type. You're convinced it had something to do with my having my own newsletter. Well, that's another I have to tell you that every time I read from my old astrology blog, I get totally downvoted. They don't want anybody to know that I was a successful astrologer before they started targeting me. I mean, they're just evil, just so evil. Okay, so I'm putting another link here. Let's see. Um, it might because, you know, when somebody has a newsletter, if I devise a newsletter just through my email, it could be altered. But most of the time, if you're doing a newsletter like through Substack or another program, they're not going to be able to get into that as easily because there are more checks and balances in those forms. I do not have any friends or family in the government or military. My father was in the army for a little bit, and then he worked for IBM. He was in the International Research Department, and I absolutely believe that my father was targeted. My father met his second wife there, and she became targeted. She was a secretary, and you know, I've discussed it with my brother. You know that it could be a family thing. It could be because my father worked at IBM. But it seems like I didn't become targeted until later in life, or at least I wasn't aware of it. I mean, I or whatever did happen to me like dozens of years ago, I just chalked up as, just something. Nobody has a perfect life. But what's happening over the last 12 years is off the charts. But I did have a cousin who is a retired. Uh, I don't know if he's a lieutenant or whatever. Astrology has been around since the ancient times. But what happens is, just like any kind of science, a metaphysics or whatever, the Freemasons, I call them the Three Masons, the Freemason Loser Club, they take all of that and bastardize it. So they take numerology. This is the divine. Astrology is like the divine geometry of the universe. It's the connection of the planets and the energy that's shared between the planets. The Native Americans used it to grow, to plant. The Egyptians used astrology before we had clocks, before we could utilize a timing device. Astrology and the cycles of the planets were utilized. Well, that's true. I do have a lot of contacts. I do have a lot of contacts. Not only from when I had the other newsletter, but I'm on somebody else's newsletter. It's mostly a targeted newsletter. Um, so it all depends on what the newsletter would be about. I just had ChatGPT create. I asked ChatGPT to um, design a logo for alternative homesteading. I said, could you add cats and roosters and flowers and make it colorful? Yeah, my old newsletter, my old blog was Lunar Notes. Yeah, it was an astrology. But I also had one for the cat rescue, for Freya's cat rescue. And that was a monthly. I would put out a monthly newsletter. That would include, like little cat articles, photos of my cats, donation links, things that we were fundraising for, facts about cats and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things to write about. And then there's a website, the Activist Post. The Activist Post allows you, I mean, anybody could do it for free, to create an account and then add an article. I just don't even have enough time in the day. And people don't realize, like, it takes me 3 hours to take care of my animals in a day. So I automatically, every day, I lose 3 hours to the animals. And then the rest of the time, like, I'm reading mail, cooking, cleaning, dealing with targeting, trying to, do the evidence. You see my videos about what I'm dealing with here. It's very aggravating, because to have dead animals on your driveway and in your mailbox, you can't just leave them there. It's something that you have to deal with. As I mentioned before, like, I don't pay attention to what color the cars are. It's irrelevant to me. I have to deal with dead animals on my property, stuffed in my mailbox. I have to deal with, like, really horrific vandalism, like literally destroying the land. A lot of people say that it's that they're targeted from birth. I believe that we're all watched from birth. Yes, the newsletter would allow us to circumvent YouTube. That's a good point. And that's why, in fact, many YouTube creators who have a website have newsletters through their website in order to stay in contact with people. It's also if for some reason YouTube gets shut down, and you never know if YouTube gets shut down, and it's just another way of having people's email addresses and stay in contact with each other, even in case of an emergency. I think that's a good idea. I'll have to look into it. Yes, we've all been through a lot. It is a ritual. I absolutely believe that it's a ritual. It's first of all, it's trauma-based mind control, but it's also satanic ritual abuse. And even, anybody that follows Brian too, he says that it is that our salts are mind control, psychological, and satanic ritual abuse. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that about your dog. I just can't stand it when they told you, you just wouldn't believe it. I don't even know if I'm going to say it. Is it buffering again? I might have my old templates from past newsletters. I'll have to check. I still have. Here, let me just see if I could find it here. I'll show you my old, if I can get my old blog here. If it pops up. I've got too many windows open now. Okay, I'll show you. And you can go search here. Okay, this is Ace of Cups. Here is this is my old blog. Let's see. Background interference. Look out for Charlie. I know. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I love his work. I just wish that he had time to work on some of my stuff. But I've emailed him in the past so many times, and I've given him information. He's never got back to me. And then he said on one of his recent videos how many emails he gets in a day, and how he just doesn't have time to even read half of it. Yeah, we all have this background. At least I don't have that weird man talking in the background as I usually do. Unincorporated town in Southern Oregon called territory. Oh, it's not coming. It's not opening. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me see. Um, let me see if I can get it here. It doesn't open up in all platforms. Like this one is in Explorer. You can open it in Explorer. Let me see if I can get another one here. Let's see. Yeah, I was not able to open up my blog in Google or in DuckDuckGo, but I had to go into Explorer to be able to open it. Because it's old, a lot of old formatting. Let me see. My laptop is just very slow. I also have too many tabs open, which is not good. Got so many tabs open. Yes, actually, yeah, her videos are really good. Yes, they don't. I noticed that it's redirecting to an alternative site. I have it actually up um, in Explorer. I wasn't able to pull it up unless it was in Explorer. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm telling you, these criminals don't want you to see what I did before. They don't want you to know that I was a successful person. They don't want you to know that I had my own businesses. They don't want you to know what my old house looked like. They have this agenda. Their agenda is that you don't pay people, you don't take care of your property while they're vandalizing it. And that's what they do. They want to destroy what your outward appearance, they want to destroy everything because they're creating a new narrative for you. So they don't want anyone exactly. They want you to feel that's why they puncture holes in my clothing. I don't wear holes in my clothing. So the socks that they just destroyed, my 3-month-old pair of socks, are in the trash now. I'm not going to sit around and sew up all the clothing that they destroy on me. And then the pants that I was wearing yesterday, along with the socks with the holes in them, they cut a hole in the crotch of those pants. It's unbelievable. These people are sick. How would they like it if somebody cut holes in the crotch of their pants or the holes of their socks? Too many people are speaking out about this for them to get away with this stuff. There's just too many. People are waking up to it. I think that Trump will do something. He'll definitely do something. Um, well, he got Tulsi Gabbard, and he just named somebody, a new person, to the head of the FBI. Who is that? I've never heard of that person. Cash Patel? Never heard of him. That's so sick about these people. Yeah, they puncture holes in my pants, like new pants. The link redirects to another site. Still, somebody's doing that. The only way I can get to it is through Explorer. I can't get through Google. Um, yeah, so actually, I have to pull up Google side by side with DuckDuckGo in order to have access to it. Yeah, you might be able to have access to, like, after you get out of the live tonight. If you, I don't know if you have Explorer or Safari. I was able to pull it up in Safari. I'm so sorry, Sarah. Yes, they separated you from your family. They want us to be lonely and isolated. I'm thankful to have a mom, and my daughter stays with us there. Well, good for you. They tore the soles of your shoes. Oh, they use Explorer to target you? Well, you can find my blog also through Safari. That's how I found it first. I first found it through Safari because I couldn't get it through Google. I couldn't get it through DuckDuckGo. So I was able to pull it up on Safari and on Explorer. Oh yeah, I've lost half of my hair. They put holes in my face. They targeted my left eye to cause it to droop. And this is since May. Like, I feel like I have a scar on my eye. They're incredibly dry. I mean, I should be healthy as anything with my lifestyle and my food choices. I don't smoke or drink or do drugs. Don't take an aspirin, and they are the ones that are destroying. You finally don't have Explorer when you got the new Chromebook. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I see. I think you can. I've lost it since moving here. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, what I've done with the old blog is I have cut and pasted it into an email to myself, and I do have them in my email. So let's see, for example, I'm just pulling up my mail here. One second. Let's see if this comes up. Yeah, the way they target us is just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, I just got redirected also. This is deliberate sabotage. Yeah, this is deliberate sabotage because it pulled up and then I got redirected to another a Chrome browser. Yeah, I can only pull it up in Explorer and Safari, unfortunately. So let's see here. Yeah, unfortunately, it's I think Google also blocks a lot of information. It's mostly censorship. It works for you in Firefox. Oh, okay. You use what DNS jumper. Yeah, I don't have any I don't think I have any of this stuff. I just don't have time to figure it all out and make it work for me. Like Bobby SHP, she's very technically adept and she downloads all this software and wonderful stuff to locate things, but I don't have the time to figure it out. Oh, I see. If you have I have Windows, yes. Use DNS jumper. Oh, okay. Let me write this down. Um, 1 second. Use DNS jumper. Would I talk about being targeted in the newsletter? Um, I mean, I could. I mean, I do that most of the time on this channel, right? That's pretty much all I do, right? Talking about my targeting. But what would be nice is like a lot of you email me some of your targeting stories, and rather than always create a video, I could use some of that in a newsletter. Yeah, it's this is so ridiculous. I mean, I really don't understand how nothing is being done about this. I mean, it's one thing for them to covertly experiment on us, right? The government has been doing that for decades and decades. But for them to be damaging our property, stealing. I mean, this is like, it's beyond organized crime. And these people are just, they just get off on it. It is a ritual. It's absolutely satanic ritual abuse. Oh, meaningful quotes from TIs. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. It's because each video, whereas when somebody has a testimony, they always have one or two things that really stand out. Oh no, the people around here are such jealous losers. They still, and there's one woman I know that she's involved because I met her when I first moved here, but I haven't seen her since. And it was really bizarre because she had the audacity to ask me what time I went to sleep at night. I thought it was really bizarre. Jerry, that was sort of like my old house. I had like a half an acre with a 6 foot fence. And then my perp neighbor next door, they kept this huge ladder outside of their shed next to my fence. They were jumping over my fence at night with that ladder. Yeah, I like that idea about the quotes, a quotes section in the newsletter. I mean, I used to have quotes in my former blog. A DNS jumper is not a VPN. It provides an alternate list of common DNS servers, more to the point, non-stalked DNS servers. So, all of this, con artists, all of this is extremely helpful. Exactly. That's exactly right. When to start trespassing. Yep. But meanwhile, since then, I have never seen that woman again. But I know she's involved. I absolutely know she's involved. Like, I'll bet anything on it. I think she's one of those hoot owl callers for a while there until I mentioned it to the sheriff's department. I told them that there are people hooting to each other across my property. They're calling each other across my property, thinking that I didn't, that thinking that I would not realize that they weren't real animals. I think they thought because I'm not around here that I would not realize that they were fake. Low, yeah, the low life mating call. No, they're literally calling across my property. They were going like hoo 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 hoo, like they're pretending to be owls. And it's like that's not an owl. That's some little girly, like, pretending to be an owl. So Matson says his cursor jumps all over the text when I write. I've learned tricks to gain control and not hunt it down. It's the mop mating call, yeah. The morons on patrol. Yep. The cops, the lops, the mops, the wops, and the pops. And anybody that's inclined to call my local sheriff's department and ask them why he's not arresting the people that put those dead animals on my property and stalking me, um, feel free to do it. So far, 2 people have contacted him via email. So, like the video that I posted, the last video that I posted on the real estate mobbing, the slime and stuff, somebody downvoted it to 66%, even though it's had 132 views. Somebody downvoted. There are only 6 likes on it, but there are 132 views with 6 likes. They downvoted it to 66%. Yeah, they don't want you to see the vandalism. They don't want it to come up in the feed as being noticed by YouTube. So another thing that, well, something that I have done is I created a Facebook page for the name of my town, and I call it the name of my town uncensored because it's the only place. Oh, you want the sheriff's information? Here, I'll give it to you. One second. His name is this. Yes, they don't. I've contacted the local newspaper. Yes, we do. We have to do something that no one else is doing. And this is why we need to band together. And when horrific things happen for a targeted person, we need to connect and band together. The way they band together against us, we need to flood the phone lines of all these sheriffs in where you live, where I live, and say, we've had it. Why are you not arresting this person? Why are you not writing incident reports? How come when I FOIA request you for the incident report, you say, oh, well, it's under investigation? Really? How much more evidence do you need to arrest my neighbors? I mean, it's so obvious. And we cannot let these people get away with this. It needs to be publicized. And if we can't get a citizen journalist, here, I'll tell you in a second. 1 second. The dates. 1 second. November 26th was the mailbox issue. So And then, let's see. And then November 29 is the turkey on the draw on my property. I could find the rest of them. And then there's October 1. Right then there was October 1 trash. Um, May 31st. I mean, there's so many. Oh, the direct TV, that was October, that was Halloween, October 31. October 31, 2024. Direct TV. I have all the links actually on my channel. 1 second. I posted them all so that you guys would have them. Here, I'll show you here. I'll post a couple of links. I'm just going to post a couple of links here. Maybe numerology or gematria involved. It's very possible. Well, I do have a couple of subscribers that every once in a while something piques her interest and she'll do the gematria. And she did it recently. She did it recently on one of the videos. I would have to go back and look for it. It involved a turkey. It was a turkey video. This one, let's see. Let me just go to that channel. 1 second. Do you still have the background noise? Do you hear? Yeah, I've got a police report number of the one that they refused to give me the FOIA request on. And now this the latest one I have to call on Monday, with the weekends and everything. So I'm going to call on Monday to get the incident number. But let me get the incident number of here. 1 second. 1 second. I know I have it written down here. Yeah, this is the toilet paper. This is, yeah, there's a lot of witchcraft involved. A lot of witchcraft. A lot of witchcraft. And let's see if I can find the gematria that somebody wrote for me. 1 second. My laptop is just so slow. Like it just takes forever. See if I could find the comment in the comments section. Hope she didn't delete it. Oh, here it is. All right, 1 second here. Dr. Eric Karlstrom and his website, he's like the first person when I came into the targeted community that talks about the witchcraft. There doesn't really isn't anybody else that talks about it, but it's definitely being used. So now what the subscriber says is the gematria of Turkey is 6235 and handler 6235. They match. It's no accident they dumped a turkey carcass on your property. It wasn't an accident, it was plans. The handler decided to do that. Imagine waking up like your job is being a handler to destroy somebody's life. Imagine what kind of a loser that is. So this is the phone call. I'll just post this link in the chat. This is the link where I'm calling to get the FOIA request on the stalking and the dumping of the dirty toilet paper. And I'm told it's still under investigation. Like this is 2 weeks later. They're not giving me a copy of the incident report. So the incident number is Ace of Cups, if you're still there. is 2024 hyphen 00 hyphen 4185. And that was the October one with the dirty toilet paper dumped on the property. It's really like unbelievable, off the charts what these criminals do. Oh, it's absolutely, it's no accident. They use astrology, they use numerology. I'm still trying to figure out how the gematria works because it's a different form of numerology. They're absolutely inhumane. Sarah, what kind of witchcraft do they do with you? Do you want to share that? So anyway, guys, thank you so much. My laptop is a little slow here. They send demons to attack your heart chakras. Uh, how are they doing that? Are they causing you to feel differently, or do you feel a pain? Con artists, I get scratches on my body. In New Jersey, I woke up with an X on my stomach and then scratches all over my back. Like, how did I get scratches on my back? These are sick people. They're very sick. You have scratches too? And then I get burns too, burns on my body, like on my face. They're just these just sick, evil people. And the fact that they're using technology, I mean, really, people need to be made aware of this technology. And I have a hard time understanding this demon stuff. I mean, are you saying that these are just non-human entities that are like flying around like ghosts or something? I don't know. Oh, non-human entities. So why are the non-human entities harassing us? Like what is that about? Are they just part of the targeting program? Are these non-human entities, are they used by the intel agencies? Scratches are not from living people. They are sent to us via our pictures. Names they use to attack us spiritually. Yes, they use them on highly targeted individuals like me. They do rituals. Oh, the orbs. Yes, I've seen the orbs. Yes, sometimes I've seen the orbs in the cameras. At first, I thought they were bugs, but no, they weren't insects. They weren't bugs. They were literally orbs. You thought it was a lens flare at first. Yeah, because normal people, we're trying to make sense of what we're seeing based upon our daily experiences. And then when we see things like an orb, you're thinking, okay, it's an insect, it's a flare, it's a glare. Your mind doesn't go to, well, oh no, it's this inhuman entity. It's creature like what do you call it? Like a cloaked creature. You feel the demons entering your heart chakra. They attack other parts of your body. We're in a spiritual warfare, and I'm highly protected, like the 144,000. Well, do you think that the reason some of us get these demonic attacks is because we're more spiritual, or there's something about us? I just got an alert. Snow stopping soon. I'm gonna just go check out my door and see if there's snow outside. Quick second. Ew. Yeah, so we have a little bit of snow, just not a lot. It's not cumulative. Oh, okay. So Sarah says the highly spiritual ones are here to expose them, and they don't want sevens to wake up. Lorraine, you are one of the 144 spiritual warriors. And con artist says, in my own experience, the more religious and or Christian inclined TIs, the more demonic attacks they experience. Well, um, oh, okay. You meant us, not, oh, not, okay, not them. Well, it's interesting that you say that, con artist, because I'm not a religious person, although I was raised Catholic, went to church, made my communion and confirmation, all that stuff. I'm not a religious person. However, like my mindset and my spirituality and my values are that of a Christian, of the values of a Christian. Although, like, I don't practice Christianity. I don't know if that makes sense. um, I literally, when this started happening to me, I had already been through my mindfulness meditation course. I was a professional astrologer. I was reading cards. I became a Reiki master teacher, so I was like using energy fields. I would see the aura around people and stuff, and these criminals have interfered with all of that. And also with all these constant interruptions, it doesn't allow your mind to be peaceful, to get to that space. Get to that space of how do I say it? Like visualizing something else. Just being peaceful. And I've noticed that they attack the third eye, they attack the pineal gland, and that a lot of targeted people have stated that they have a little bit of a depression there. Like, to add to the more kind-hearted, giving, and loving, TIs also attract demonic attacks because these traits are of goodness, which demons detest. Yes, well, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, people who rescue animals, are kind and loving generally. Not all of them. Let me tell you, not all of them, but are spending a lot of time, money, effort rescuing animals, and these sick people do not have the same qualities. They view kindness as a weakness to be exploited. And I every once in a while watch this YouTube creator. He's actually a self-professed diagnosed psychopath narcissist, or narcissist psychopath. He has a British accent. His name is H.D. Tudor, Tudor. And he describes people who are not like him. And he'll say it right out. He says, you know, he calls them like us versus them. He says that we're not like him, we're not like them, and they're not like us. He calls us appliances. Psychopaths, narcissists view us as appliances. Appliance is an object. It's just an object to be used. You actually one day you're like, let me just write his name in the chat here. There's a raccoon on my porch right now, like knocking on the door. I find the raccoon footprints all over my door. Sarah says, we are spiritual beings here to bring down the dark side. Well, it's so hard being one person, right? And like, there's so many of the dark side living here, like down the block. I mean, literally, it's a swarm. They're a swarm. Yeah. I put out so much food for the raccoons and then the fox, and it just baffles the mind how much they eat. But last night, I looked out on my porch, and there was like the mama. Oh, you sent an email? Okay, I'll check it out. There's a mama and three little babies. They were so cute. I mean, the little baby raccoons are just so adorable. Okay, let me just go check my mail. 1 second. I really need to buy a new laptop. I just bought a Chromebook and I haven't set it up yet. Oh, thank you so much, Joshua. I'm actually considering, but I'm so busy with so many things here, and I just get so tired of fighting all the time. But I am considering forming a petition and putting the petition online and documenting all of these incidences because I would really like to get a news reporter. I really want this on the news. I want what's happening to me on the news. Joshua, do you want me to read this out loud? Flyers, maybe. Oh, it's definitely like MK Ultra, 10.0. They own the news. Well, there are a lot of citizen journalists out there. And like after a lot of people lost their jobs in, early to 2020, so many people started YouTube channels and started interviewing people and seeking the truth. And there's so many channels out there that are really good that are having, that are reporting the real news. And if we can get some of these creators with a lot of subscribers, oh, well, thank you so much, Sarah. If we can get the attention of some of uh, these alternative journalists to report on this, it would be wonderful. Because this is horrific stuff. Okay, so the letter that I received here Let me just get my glasses on here. Thank you so much, Joshua. Hopefully, it'll get to him. Dear Sheriff Isaacs, we hope this message finds you well. We are writing to express our concern regarding the string of recent incidents of vandalism that have occurred at the location of Miss Valenti's homesteading property in McKee County, Kentucky, and the apparent lack of follow-up investigation into the matter of vandalism and harassment. Miss Valenti is a senior citizen and respected member of the community. The incident in question occurred October 1, 2024. It was promptly reported to your office October 1, 24, under the report of 2024-004185. The damage included bags of defecated waste paper on Miss Valenti's property in the middle of the night. This trespassing and vandalism has caused significant distress and concern for safety of Miss Valenti's neighborhood. Prior to and subsequent to the event in question, Miss Valenti underwent a series of cases of vandalism on her property, as well as consistent harassment, including most recently November 26, 2024, wherein animal remains were stuffed in her mailbox, and her mailbox and its contents were damaged as a consequence. This incident was also reported to the McKee County police officer, who did help with the incident, but there has been no clear follow-up or interest in preventing subsequent incidents from occurring. While we understand the demands placed on your office and the need to prioritize resources, we respectfully request an update on the status of the investigation. Additionally, we would appreciate it if this matter could be given due consideration, as it impacts not only Ms. Valenti's property, but also the sense of security within her community. If additional information or evidence is required to assist in the investigation, Ms. Valenti would be more than willing to provide it. She would also appreciate guidance on any further steps she might take to support the resolution in this issue. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We trust in your commitment to upholding the safety and well-being of all community members. We look forward to your response at your earliest convenience. Sincerely, Joshua Tatum, on behalf of Ms. Valenti and other concerned citizens. Well, thank you so much. And just as an FYI, there's an E at the end of my last name. But this is a wonderful letter. Thank you so much. And there absolutely needs to be a follow-up, and they need to provide me with a correct incident report. And so I'm still thinking about the petition, because petitions are not only, they won't only go within our community. Petitions are seen by a wide variety of people, including reporters, including activists, including people all over the world. So I'm seriously considering, because back in New Jersey, when I was having difficulty with my feral cat colony, I created a petition, and I was absolutely shocked. Cat people, they can be very proactive, very obsessive about taking care of animals. Well, my petition was shared everywhere. It was shared everywhere to the point that somebody on Facebook, a guy, took my petition and created a website, or I should say, created a new Facebook page called Saving the Pinebrook Cats from Extinction. He posted photos of my cats there. Yes, my last name is spelled V as in Victor, Alente. There's an E at the end. That's okay, because most of the time I just say it's Lorraine with alternative homes, but with alternative homesteading. Most people don't even know my last name. Yeah, but it's spelled with an E at the end. That's okay. That's okay. It's my last name is actually spelled both ways, but my family name is spelled with the E at the end. So the means that the pronunciation is different. Like with the I at the end, it's actually Valenti. With the E at the end, it's Valente. But of course, I just say Valenti. But it's actually pronounced Valente. with the E at the end. But that was a wonderful letter. Thank you so much for writing it. I really appreciate it. And I think there were two other people that wrote letters. So thank you so much. But, petitions are interesting because absolutely, I think that's a great idea. The spirit, the letter was trying to put the burden on the sheriff regarding public safety and citizen concern. It was a great letter, wonderful letter. And in fact, it's such a good letter, we should keep it as a template for other people that are experiencing this kind of harassment in their communities, so that we already have a letter. I mean, of course, it will be tailored differently, but we've got a format of a letter that other people can utilize. Petitions and flyers, exactly. I mean, it doesn't give us a lot of choices. The difference with a petition, and they're hitting me in the head right now, these losers. Um, Petitions aren't only in our community. Petitions go everywhere. A petition link can be shared in any platform. Petitions go all over the world. They can be recommended. And like my feral cat petition, literally it was so viral because I was receiving notifications, like dozens of notifications. Like every hour I would get a notification. It was what was it? What's it called? Care, was it care.org? And there was no GoFundMe or anything attached to it. It was just a petition. And then that petition was sent to the health department. It was actually the health department that received a bogus phone complaint. Yes, that was a very smart thing to do, Joshua. The we instead of I. Yes, and this is very important, and we need to start doing this because the FBI whistleblowers have said that the sheriff does not have to allow these federal programs into their community. That is the sheriff that allows them. And if the sheriff allows these programs in the community, that you know that he's corrupt. I can't stand those puppy mills and stuff. A sheriff says, we had a petition on the .gov site years ago, 10 years ago, no longer, but we didn't get enough signatures. You have to have 100,000. Well, that's a lot of signatures. The point is that when there's a petition there, you get signatures. Some people, sign anonymously. Some people actually leave their name. There's an option to leave a comment. The point is that when you have a petition, and even if you have 10 names on it, that's 10 people complaining or supporting it that you didn't have before. That's 10 people that are now made aware of a situation that they weren't aware of previously. And then when people see that it's happening to somebody here in rural Kentucky, they might say, hey, wait a minute. I know somebody else that happened to. I'm going to share it with that person. And because we're being shut down through all social media avenues, this is why we need to share it amongst ourselves. We need to be able to share our petitions everywhere. And it doesn't matter how many signatures are on it. It's about the awareness, because you never know who's going to see it. Exactly. The sheriff's plausible excuse is fading away. A petition. Well, what I'm going to do, I mean, again, I have so many people to call. I need to get my house listed again. But I am definitely going to write to Tulsi Gabbard. I think all targeted people need to write to her because she's so aware of how targeting affected her life, and that was just flying. Now, when you are placed on a no-fly list or the quiet skies list, you have an option to petition to get off that list. When you're on our list, there is no due process. There's no way to get off the list. Well, this new guy that Trump is putting into the FBI, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see until January. Yeah, there's no way to get off the list because they when you FOIA request them, they can't confirm or deny that you're even on the list, and then they have the audacity to cite in the name of national security. You're kidding me. Like, what kind of a national security threat is a senior citizen? Oh, yeah. It's a threat to, like, having all these years of experience knowing that, oh, yeah, those stripes in the sky, they didn't exist when I was growing up. Oh, yeah, the food actually tasted better in the 60s than it does now. All the things that they don't want all the young people to know about, like, we're able to share with them. But that's besides the fact is they go after women because we're more vulnerable. They go after men who live alone. If you know something they don't want you to know, if it's in the family, they absolutely do it for satanic rituals. They have to do favors for their Freemason friends. It's the only way they get to elevate themselves. They don't have to work. They just have to hurt somebody else. There is no way to get off the list. You're on it forever. And what happens is they'll move you from one list to another. And also, this is the thing that really bothers me. You don't get off the list even when you pass away. And that's a fact. They still keep your name on the list. Why is that? That makes absolutely no sense. Yes, really. And you know what one of the reasons are? One of the many reasons is one, they still get to bloat the list for money. They still get to use that person's identity, so they're still committing identity theft. There's probably money on that person's name. Exactly that. Yep. But also, if they take your name off the list, then you can FOIA request them for the reasons why you were on the list. So as long as you're still on the list, in the name of national security, you can't FOIA the information. Oh, you're welcome. Yes. Yes, that is a fact. And it really pisses me off because, I know a few people that have passed away as a targeted person, like my friend Helena Chorba, and it just pisses me off that her name is still on the list when she's not here anymore. Yep. And how is that possible? And that's something that the new administration should look into. Why are names still on a list when they don't live anymore? This new administration needs to look into the watch listing process, the nomination process, how long somebody's on it, Why can't somebody petition to get off the list? Just like Trey Gowdy in that hearing that he had with the FBI, I think it was years ago, where he's grilling them about there is no way to get off the list. Uh, if they, when we moved into their communities, that's intent. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Well, as I mentioned, Jerry, when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. Nobody. I moved here from New Jersey not knowing anybody. Within the first week of my moving here, 4 of my cats were stolen. 4. Could you imagine? I spent all that money trapping my feral cats, socializing them to live indoors, trapping them to bring them, get them into pet carriers, again, to bring them to Kentucky, only to have them stolen. Those poor cats. So Connors is saying correct. They trade the straw man, the non-living entity of the real man, the mirror image, the birth certificate, right? Birthing, right, right. I remember reading about that. Oh, it is very cruel, Sarah. Extremely cruel. But even just as cruel is they dump the water. I moved here in May. I didn't get to move into my house until July. So it was very hot. So my cat Leo, they dumped the water and poured antifreeze in its place. And he licked it and he started convulsing. And yeah, I've got it on video. There was nothing I could do for him. They poisoned him. He was young. He was only like 3 years old. Oh, horrible. And then after they unalived my mother and I flew to New York, I wasn't even there yet. And I called my perp neighbor who was watching my property. I didn't realize how involved she was. And she said, "Well, I think your hen is missing." I said, "How could my hen be missing? I just left." She said, "I can't find it anywhere. These criminals stole my hen. They damaged the front door to my nonprofit building where the cats are. And they harmed one of my cats." So when I came back, my favorite chicken was gone. I had holes in the front of my building. And my young, healthy cat was lethargic as if they kicked him or something. They injured him and then he died. His name was Buddha. I named him Buddha. I rescued him here, actually. Oh, yes, and then they actually burned a hole in the face of one of my cats. The birth certificate is why my friend is still. One second. The birth certificate is why your friend is still on list, even though she is passed. The birth certificate survives her. The system trade her trust account. Yes, yes, I heard about that. Yes, yes. Oh, I bought a book. I haven't even looked at it yet. One second. I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so I bought this book because it was kind of recommended. Oh, and I see they scratched it already. It's the UCC Connection: How to Free Yourself from Legal Tyranny. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. It's we the people. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So the back of the book says the 10 maxims of commercial law. 1. A workman is worthy of his hire. 2. All are equal under the law. 3. In commerce, truth is sovereign. 4. Truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. 5. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. 6. An unrebuted affidavit becomes judgment in commerce. 7. A matter must be expressed to be resolved. 8. He who leaves the field of battle first loses by default. 9. Sacrifice is the measure of credibility. 10. A lien or a claim can be satisfied only through 1. A rebuttal by counter affidavit point by point. 2. Resolution by a jury. C. Payment. So Conradus is saying UCC sounds great, but treats all as assets and liabilities. Yeah, so this book is it's nationallibertyalliance.org. Nationallibertyalliance.org. Oh, it's a really small book. But there was a YouTube channel. I'll write it in the chat. Justinian Deception, and he taught us all about that birth certificate. Here, let me write it down here. But he's not putting videos up anymore. His channel's still there, and I'm not sure all of the videos are still there. But that was he was amazing. He had a chalkboard, diagrams explaining how all this worked, and then they started to, I guess, assault. Yes, yes. That was great. I learned about him when I lived in New Jersey. Yeah, it was very good. And then he was still around when I moved to Kentucky, but then he just kind of disappeared. And he then created a video that his partner was being targeted. And he decided to, stop posting information. But he was so good. Now, there's another man who's doing the same thing. I just found him. And he doesn't post often. I would have to find it again. I'd have to go look at my list of people that I subscribe to. Let me see. I subscribe to so many people. It's just ridiculous. I don't always hit the bell on it because I know they don't post often. And then I get too many alerts. But it's almost like a bookmark. So I'll subscribe to somebody as a bookmark so that I can refer back to them because I know that YouTube creates a list of everybody that you subscribe to. Let me just see. And thank you everybody for joining the chat and you always give me such great information. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for writing that letter to the sheriff. I really, really appreciate it. And we have to hold these people accountable. And I will say that the current sheriff is nicer than the old sheriff. The old sheriff that we had here, Um, he was originally, like, he was a state trooper, and then, when he became sheriff here, he was already, like, in his late 50s, early 60s. We're actually around the same age. I think he's maybe a year older than me, and he was pretty done with, wanting to do this kind of work. But so it's a lot easier sometimes to corrupt these people that are ready to retire anyway. American Sign Language. I don't know about that. I don't remember that. A lot of what an older code just. Oh, okay. I got you. Got you. You type so fast too. I don't type that fast. I would type faster if my laptop were in a better position. I don't have an office. I'm actually sitting on like a little step stool with a pillow. It's so uncomfortable. I mean, when I was in New Jersey, I had a beautiful office. I had a nice chair. I had a beautiful desk. I had multiple desks. It was so convenient. I had my laptop on one place, um, my PC in another place. I would go back and forth to them. I had software on one and my astrology software on one. I have nothing here. It's very uncomfortable living in this house in this area. I mean, targeting is bad enough, and when you're not comfortable in your space, it's even worse. But anyway, I really appreciate everybody for joining in the chat and all that wonderful information you provided. And the idea about the newsletter, I'm definitely going to keep that. I've been thinking about a newsletter. I've actually been thinking about a website also, because a website, even though a website can be hacked because they've hacked repeatedly my Freya's Cat Rescue website, there are some free websites. Oh, you type slow too, Sarah? I used to type faster, but with the targeting and stuff, it affects. What I've noticed it is affecting the the typing of the letters. Like my brain is telling me to type it, the word precisely, but my fingers are not doing that. So I have to constantly go back and correct it. Now, it could be I've noticed that some of my keys don't work also properly. So, thank you so much, Joshua. I really appreciate it. And it's really important for us to come together because as they say, nobody's coming to help us. I mean, look at what happened in North Carolina. Those people are suffering there. So yes, everybody have a wonderful night, and thank you all for showing up. And I'm going to sign off now. And also, SHP gave me permission to repost some of her videos, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll repost some of the videos to my channel. So thank you all, and have a great night.